But tonight I am going to send you an email. So prior to the distribution of submissions, we need to ask you to identify any potential conflicts of interest. I'm going to send you a list of registered competitors. And we've asked the competitors to do the same thing, and you'll see that bit of information as well. And then based on that information, we make the distributions accordingly. And more than likely that will happen on Monday of next week. As we've previously communicated, each application is going to take 30 to 45 minutes to review. And we're still estimating less than 5 applications per judge, but we'll share the final numbers with you next week, along with your passwords to access the site where all of the judging is done, and which Jordan is going to train us on momentarily. What else? I believe that, once the evaluation panel has completed all its scoring, a smaller group of finalists is going to be invited to make a final pitch presentation to the selection committee. And we're still trying to schedule dates, but we will share the final date and time with the evaluation panel because you're more than welcome to attend. Then the selection committee is going to assess each finalist team to determine the prize winner. And of course, they're going to be using the same scoring tool as the evaluation panel and the training that we're going to receive today. Did I forget anything? So with that said, I believe you all know the Common Pool, most specifically Jason Morgan, the CEO, and Jordan Blumhardt, who is a scoring expert. He's going to be conducting our training today. And any one of us are available to answer any questions that you might have along the way. Jason, Jordan?
Thanks, Lori. This is actually Lynn Van Devender with the Common Pool. Jason's not on the call today. We just first of all want to thank you and let us know. Our team, we have a stellar team, so even after the training today, if you have questions that come up, Jordan likely will be the one that will be responsible for answering them. But be sure and let us know if you have any questions. And as we work through the presentation today, I think really what we need to do is just to kind of minimize some of the background noise, is to have folks ask their questions at the end, and you can either do that via the chat, or we can just have everyone unmute at the end and ask questions as they.
And Lynn, I'm hearing a bit of feedback now. If everybody would like to put their microphones on mute.
And Lori, did you want to do a round of introductions at all for folks, or should we just have Jordan dive right into it? You may have gotten muted. All right, well, let's go ahead and have Jordan start.
Okay, I guess I'll go ahead and start. We are still getting a little bit of background noise from somewhere if anyone is able to mute their microphone. Otherwise, I'll just go ahead and get started. First of all, here on the website at newarizonaprize.org is where you will be judging the prize. You will be provided a login with an email and password to log into your account. For now, we're just going to use a temporary sample content, sample user. Once you log in, you'll be brought to the dashboard page. On the dashboard page, you'll have a judging history box. In this box, you'll have all of the submissions listed that you will need to judge. You can access some of the judging from this box, but we're going to go ahead and go to the full page just in order to review some more details regarding that. You can go to the full page by clicking Go to Full Page in this box, or you can go up to the dashboard menu and select Judging History. On the judging history page, there are several things to outline that are important to talk about here. At the top of the page, you'll have your name and the deadline for when your judging needs to be completed. All of your submissions need to be judged. In these boxes here, in the submission column, you'll have a review button to be able to click in and review your submission. You'll have a submitted by column that'll tell you who submitted that submission. You'll see when the judging started, the score that you've provided for that submission, whether or not your rubric is finished, and there will also be a column showing when you closed that submission. And we'll talk a little bit more about closing a submission later. Finally, you'll have this little printer icon allows you to review the submission and review your comments and scores that you made for that submission. We can go ahead and start scoring a submission. We'll just click review. On the review page, on the judging page, first of all, you'll want to expand the submission, which is in this box, and review it entirely before you begin scoring. So we'll go ahead and expand that box and see the full submission. In each submission, there are, I believe, 23 different requirements that teams were required to complete. Each one of those requirements will have a description of what they were supposed to include, and then within the yellow or tan box, you'll have the information that you'll need to review for their submission. There are several different types of information in here, including just text content, writing paragraphs, and then they'll have some tables of financial data and a strategy as far as dates and length of project. But the other thing to point out is they'll also have some creative content to be reviewed, either a video, static images from that video, or static images supporting their submission, or a narrative description. Once you're done reviewing that submission, you can either just go ahead and start scoring, or you can get this box out of the way again. Scroll to the top. Just clicking the box at the top of it will collapse it. To begin scoring, first of all, you have 4 different judging criterion, as we call them, or 4 different judging sections. Each one will have this exact same setup. At the top, you'll have a short description or question that's to be answered, just kind of telling you how to judge based on that one criterion. Once you've reviewed the submission and know what you want to score, you can go ahead and click on this bubble on the rating bar and drag it to the appropriate score that you think is good for that judging criterion and that submission. We've gone ahead and included several short descriptions of what the submission should look like in order to receive that score. So that may help as you go along to be able to review the description above the score to see if their submission really matched those requirements or those suggestions. Not requirements. Next, you will be required to provide a comment of feedback to the participant. The comment needs to be a minimum of 50 characters. I will go ahead and put in a sample one. Once you are done with the sample comment, or with the comment, not the sample comment. Well, now that I'm done with the sample comment, I'm going to go ahead and click Save, and that will save that judging criterion section. And then I will click Next, and that will take us to the very next section. Once again, you fill this out exactly the same way. If you would like to return to the judging overview page at any time before finishing your submission, or if you just need to leave and come back later to finish judging, you can always return to this page. But to get back to the judging overview page or judging history page, you can click Judging Overview, and that will bring you back to the judging history page. Now you'll notice that since you did score one judging criterion, you will have a partial score provided here for the submission, but it will still tell you that no, you have not completed the rubric. So in order to complete your scoring, we'll go back and click review again. Notice that since you finished one judging section, you are now going to be brought to judging criterion number 2 automatically. If you do want to go back and make any changes to judging criterion 1, you can come in here and click on previous, and that will take you back. I'll go ahead and just fill out this really quickly, and just in review, we'll read the question or sentence at the beginning to know how to judge, and I will drag the rating bubble to the appropriate score based on the text that's provided above, and I will give a sample comment, and I will save and move on to the next judging criterion. Now if I click next without saving, it will prompt me asking me if I really want to proceed without saving, so that you will be reminded of that. I'm going to go ahead and fill these in real quick so we can talk about a few more items on the judging history page. Okay, once you're done with scoring your submission, you can go back to the judging overview page. Now there will be a couple things different on the page than before. It does say we are now finished with the rubric. And it also gives us a close now button. Closing your submission will finish it entirely, or what would you call it, wrap it up entirely. In other words, you can't go back in and make any changes once you close a submission. It finalizes your score. You don't have to close right after finishing your submission. Some people prefer to be able to have the opportunity to go back and make changes to their comments or scores later on in the judging process. Maybe they get through a couple more reviews and realize that they needed to be a little less strict on their judging, or who knows what their reasoning would be. But you are welcome to go ahead and wait to click close now until later on. Just make sure to close all of your submissions before you walk away from your judging, because your submissions will not be, your scores will not be officially submitted until you click that close now button. We'll go ahead and click close now. Once you close now, you will be provided with a date of when you closed that submission. A couple of final reminders or final things to go over would be that even after you do close that submission, you can review what you listed for scores and comments by clicking on the printer icon, and that will take you to a page where you can review. I'm sorry, that is not correct. That's so you can review the application. You can click on the score, and that will help you review, or allow you to review, your comments and scores that you provided on that submission. Finally, if you do need help through this process again, or need a reminder on any of this information, you are free to contact us, but there's also one other place you can get help, and that will be this help button at the top right of the page. There should be a help video when you click on that link that will go ahead and walk you through this whole process again. And I believe that wraps up my presentation on the judging process.
Thank you, Jordan.
Sure.
We can go ahead and open it up for questions.
So that's a good sign. Also, so you know, once we share the passwords with you, we have loaded onto the website a judging video, so a refresher of this training session. No worries.
This is Richard Morrison. I do have one question. Is there a point in the process in which the various judges will meet and confer about the status of an application before it moves on or is rejected?
Well, Richard, one, the evaluation panel is going to systemically judge all the competitors or competing teams from January 24th to February 20th. And then because you sit on the selection panel in upcoming days, we're going to be sharing possible dates and processes with the selection team to go to next steps. But do know that the selection team will also systemically judge, but there will be an in-person event or events.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, this is Tammy McLeod. I'm wondering, is there a methodology or a suggestion that we go through and read them all before we start scoring any of them? Or is there a best way to approach it?
Well, Tammy, you're going to be assigned less than 5 applications. Jordan, you can discuss the open, fair, and honest systemic algorithm portion of this, but Tammy, you're going to be assigned less than 5 that you particularly are going to be judging. And yes, you have to read all of them to judge them.
Okay, no, I guess you missed. I'm sorry, I didn't articulate it very well. So would you suggest, or does it matter, that we kind of go through and read all 5 that you've assigned to me first, and then go back and start scoring, so that we sort of have a level set of the entire group? Or is it best just to take them as they come, or is there...
Days. Some people will prefer to read one, score it, read again, the next one, score it. You know, when I'm scoring things, I typically read all of them and go back and score just so I can kind of do a level set.
Great.
But honestly, both approaches are fine. And what Lori was referring to was that we actually statistically normalize all scores that the submissions receive. So each participant, each team that has submitted an application will receive 5 separate reviews from 5 individual judges. And this algorithm run against it accounts for the sort of thing that you're just talking about. So within an individual judge, you know, if you start out and you end up kind of maybe scoring the first one more easily than you might the last one, you find that you're doing more, you're sort of more strict in your judging, or even opposite, you're getting easier as you go along. Normalization process, smooth that all out. Likewise, you know, if you're a strict judge and I'm an easy judge, and I tend to give people, you know, all 4s and 5s, to give people more 2s and 3s. And that statistical normalization kind of smooths out the process. And, for the math geeks that are on the phone call, that algorithm is actually published on the website, and it's called a level playing field. So feel free to review that and let us know if you have any questions. Does that help?
Yes, that helps me. Thank you.
Sure.
Well, thanks, people. Expect another